Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. Glad everybody can be with me on this good Monday. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to me on SoundCloud, Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. I'm on Instagram at I'm Not Repeating Myself pod, and I'm also on TikTok at I'm Not Repeating Myself pod. Hope everybody had a good weekend, man. I know I definitely did. Shout out to all my listeners, on the upper East Coast, northern area. I know we've been hit with this, this massive winter storm that's covering a lot of the country. So hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody took the safety precautions. You got your food, you got your utilities, you got all the supplies that you need to weather this storm. They say it's gonna definitely be. It's not so much about the snow itself; it's more so about the ice that is to come after. If you're in an area that is not familiar with getting ice, please don't drive in conditions you're not familiar with because black ice is real and that car will get the skirting on you. So please be safe. Listen to your local news station. Please make sure you are good. For those who are familiar with it, please stay safe as well. Even though y'all accustomed to doing it, please don't take the storm lightly because again, we don't know what effects it can have. Ice doesn't just really affect your surroundings. It can affect power. Ice can cause power to be out for hours, sometimes days. So please do not take this storm lightly. Please do not take this storm lightly. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this shit, man. So we had some new music drop from Ti. Ti has a new record, man, and lately I've been kind of playing it all week, and it kind of sounds like Ti is back to his urban legend, his urban legend time frame, man. Ti, let me get the correct, let me pull up the correct title, man. Yeah, Ti got a new single called "Let 'Em Know." I think it was produced. I think it was produced by Pharrell, if I'm not mistaken. But this record is fire. I saw the video, and of course Ti he cut his locks, so now he back to the light Caesar, and it's giving that urban legend, trap music type feel, man. And the title speaks for itself. The title, the title, the title speaks for itself, and it's basically just reminding niggas, and I'm definitely a fan of it. Ti is one of my, I place Ti in my top 15 rappers of all time. It definitely would. You cannot tell a story of hip hop without speaking about Ti. He had at least a 3-4 album run that was incredible, and he's pretty much solidified as one of the best, especially the ones coming out the South. He dubbed himself the King of the South for a reason, and this definitely sounds like that 2003 to 2007 time frame Ti. And this track is fire. I don't think it was produced by. Let me see. Oh yeah, it was produced by Pharrell. My bad. I thought it said another name on there, but yeah, it's definitely produced by Pharrell. This beat is fire. This beat is fire. He's flowing on it. He sounds in shape, but Ti never really sounded out of shape. But I'm definitely interested to see what album, uh, as far as the direction he's going. Is this gonna be a heavily produced album by Pharrell? Is it gonna be a mixture of producers? Either way, I'm definitely here for it. If this is what I'm anticipating, Let Him Know sounds amazing, and he sounds in shape. He sounds great. Of course, the visual representation of him, cutting his locks and going back to the Caesar, definitely taking us back to the time for where Ti became, the top dog in the South, the king of the South for a reason. So shout out to Ti and Pharrell for putting that together, man. That track is fire, man. You get a chance, check that out. It's called "Let 'Em Know." I think he has a video attached with it as well. But that song is fire, man. Definitely shout out to Ti. And Ti, I'm still waiting on Ti to get a verses, man. We all know we wanted him to see 50 Cent, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But I'm interested to see if we'll ever get a versus for Ti because I know it's something that he's spoken about. It's something that he definitely wants to get done, and I'm ready. I'm ready. He has a discography that you could put up against pretty much anybody. Pretty much anybody. Ti is, when it comes to discographies, he has one of the best in rap of all time. Actually, I think it might be top 10 if we being for real. I think Ti might have a top 10 discography of all time in rap. From where we want to start off at. I'm Serious, Trap Music, Urban Legend, King, and Paper Trail. If you want to stop it at that point, but yeah, that's a strong 5-6 album run, man. Definitely for sure. A lot of people started off at trap music, which I'm not really mad at. That's when he got with a new label, new situation. So I mean, trap music, urban legend, King, and then I love Paper Trail. I think Paper Trail is a great album. I think that's one of his best works. So and even some of the albums that he dropped over the last 10 years. I love Don Trap. Don Trap is hard. I fuck with that album. Trouble Man. Uh those two in particular stand out for me like post that time frame. So again, salute to T.I. and Pharrell for putting out that record, man. That record is fire. So Jadakiss. Jadakiss has basically some new information that dropped as regards to J. Cole and what he's doing as far as this album rollout. And he said on his podcast with Joe and Jada that, J. Cole got a mixtape coming out prior to the album dropping. And he's rapping over Money, Power, Respect and Can I Live? And when I heard that, I'm like, if J. Cole's rapping over those, and I love Money, Power, Respect. Y'all know a few episodes ago, I was just talking about some of the best rap posse cuts of all time, and I mentioned that. I just love that beat. So if Cole is coming with a mixtape prior to this album drop, yeah, he definitely setting this album up to be something major. He's definitely setting this album up to be something major, because when I heard that, I was like, damn, let me see if I can go ahead and find this clip. Here we go. Let me see.
Shout out to J. Cole. He got project coming out called The Fall Off, and he got a mixtape where he used some of the locks. He rhymed over Money, Power, Respect, and he rhymed over Can I Live. Killed them shit. So Cole is coming back in a major way.
Do we look at him the same, being that they screwed his head off the big three?
You hear his bars, all of that shit don't matter.
It's over?
He's coming crazy.
Let me tell you something, man. They screwed his head off the big three. Is he in the big three?
I don't like that terminology,
cool.
So give me a pass. But they better screw his shit back on after you.
Listen, let me tell you something. The lie, no matter what you call it, in your biggest heyday, no matter what,
right. It's all about the music. You going off the internet.
I'm not going off the internet. I'm talking.
Head ports got to go back on where
I'm talking about hip hop, right? So what I'm saying to you is, you guys were fucking miniature compared to 50 Cent just sold 30 million records. You went at him. You went to the yard with the sword.
You're answering your own question.
What's that?
He could sell 100 million. The bars and the power of the people in the street made all of that shit irrelevant.
He didn't come outside to Jada.
It's all in the music. You talk about knocking him out the park and this and that and that and this.
I gotta hear it.
He got some shit. You know what I mean?
Are you ever thinking of selling your catalog?
Yeah, so yeah, man, when Jadakiss said that, I'm like, yeah, man, I gotta hear that. I gotta hear J. Cole. I gotta hear J. Cole over Money, Power, Respect. I want to see what and I've heard J. Cole rap over some of the, classic rap beats before, and anytime he does, he kills it. I mean, of course, you go listen to his mixtape. Now, his mixtape discography goes without saying. I spoke about that before, but if he coming over Money, Power, Respect, and Can I Live, and hey, man, the way you prepping this album, man, like I said before, this shit damn near gotta be a classic. This shit gotta be a classic. So I'm interested to see what J. Cole has in store as far as the mixtape. Because we all know, man, that's one of the golden eras of hip-hop is that mixtape era, man. Getting niggas to rap over other niggas' beats. Like, that was heavy promo, especially for a new rapper, man. Like, if you want to get your music out there, you wanted niggas to know your name, you going to have to hop on one of the hottest beats at the time and get the spitting. That's how it was. So, and Cole is still one of the best, of course. People still have their opinions as regards to, what they want to hear from Cole and, the whole big three thing. And I still stand firm on my stance too. Like, my whole thing with Cole was this. Listen, had he just let that diss live and he got smoked or, he didn't respond, I wouldn't have a problem with Cole still rapping this big dog shit. I promise you I wouldn't. But the fact that he took that shit back, that's kind of why people, including myself, are like, hey, he could kind of just, kill it with I'm the best rapper and the competitive type bars. I mean, that's only fair. But outside of that, like I said, I'm still anticipating this album. If that mixtape is coming, like Jadakiss said, then I'm definitely want to hear that because Money, Power, Respect, again, is major. I definitely want to hear that shit. I definitely want to hear Money, Power, Respect if J. Cole is rapping over that. Can I Live? Definitely for sure. Definitely for sure. So we just have to wait and see. You know, his birthday is coming up on the 28th. We may get that on the 28th, his birthday. So we'll see, because we all know that the fall off is coming on February 6th. So salute to J. Cole, man. Definitely anticipating that mixtape for sure. So moving on next, Camron, Let It to Dame. So when I seen this on my timeline and I hit play, I'm like, this shit again. This shit again. What is this part? Yeah, it's crazy because Camron got a whole saga series going against, you know, Jim Jones, that one alone, and then you got one with Dame, that one alone. And I'm gonna be real, the Let It to Dame, I listened to it, it's cool, but it really didn't move me, man. I still kind of feel like that whole situation, you know, y'all niggas can have a conversation about it, honestly. Can have a I know, you know, music is an outlet, but I feel like this situation is different and unique to where, you know, the record is cool, but what essentially is it gonna do? So are you gonna do this record and then, you know, 6 months, 9 months down the line, y'all back at it again? Saying who did what in 2003, who did what in 1998, who did what in '06, who did this, who got more money now, who did this, da 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 da. What is it all really gonna be? I still feel like it's just adding fuel to the fire. And again, this is a unique situation, excuse me, because this dates back 20 plus years. So I mean, yeah, the record is cool, and from a rapper standpoint, we all know Cam can rap, but with this being dedicated to Dame Dash, it's just that's one of those situations where even in through rap, I kind of want that shit to just be left alone. That's just me being real. I don't want to, because nothing ever good comes from it. Nothing ever good comes from it. Where essentially that if, you know, grown men who 50 years old need to just have a sit down and have a conversation and let it be what it is, whether it be y'all become cool again, or rather it be, hey, this is completely dead. Don't address me in public no more. I don't address you in public no more. And just leave it at that, because all of it really is just, it's just entertainment for the masses. And entertainment, especially for part of the masses who saw y'all grow up in real time, like myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dipset was a prominent time in rap history, and to see where it's gotten now in terms of everybody, not just Cam and Dame, it's just sad and unfortunate. It's just sad and unfortunate. And again, just to, you know, because this letter to Dame doesn't question Cameron's ability to rap at all. That's not what my issue is. It's just like, what we gonna get from this? That's really what it is. Like, essentially, what are we really gonna get from this whole situation? Because if this just stands the test of time and, you know, it does what it does, Dame doesn't, all right, cool. But we all know Dame, he's not gonna keep his mouth shut. Dame is not gonna keep his mouth shut. He gonna have something to say. He's gonna have something good to say, rather it be good or bad. So I don't know. Cool record from a rapper standpoint. We all know Cam. He gets busy, and this, you know, he did this on his other show outside of Is What It Is on Talk with Flea. But I'm just kind of cool on it. I'm just kind of burnt out with the whole Camron and Dame Dash shit. Like, if niggas coming together to do some dope shit like Cam and Mace did, fire. But if it's gonna continue to be a war, then I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing about that. That's what niggas really need to do. Niggas really need to come together and just get some business shit popping, or, you know, do some creative shit. Because again, Cam and Mace, they was beefing for damn near 15 years. Early, late shit, going straight. Soon as Mace and Cam really had their debut albums, them niggas was beefing. So for them to come back together, you know, 15, 20 plus years later, yeah, it really was 20 years, because It Is What It Is came out around 2022, 2023, I think, somewhere in between there. Because they was beefing around, they really sending beef records at each other around 2017, 18. That's when Mace dropped the Oracle too. But them niggas put that shit aside and was able to do some great shit. Had a dope show come together, employing other people. They making money, making huge strides. So if it's not nothing like that, I'm cool on it. So moving on next, Chad Hugo sues Pharrell. Now this is crazy because, of course, throughout Pharrell's career, he has gotten a reputation for basically, you know, fucking over his artists, you know, not paying people, not doing them right. And it kind of goes under the rug because Pharrell is not really how can I say, he's not really an asshole as far as when he talks. He's kind of like soft spoken. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Like Pharrell don't really talk that much. Like he get busy with his production and all that. Like he don't really get caught up in the BS. But there always have been rumblings of Pharrell doing bad business. Khalees, one of the most prominent names who have accused Pharrell of not really doing right by her. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. Pharrell is facing a new lawsuit from former Neptunes partner Chad Hugo, who alleges he was cut out of their shared company and is owed up to $1 million tied to an NERD album. The suit claims Pharrell engaged in self-dealing, concealed material information, and diverted revenues owed to Chad, and that the conduct was willful, fraudulent, and malicious. Hugo says he has not received his proper share of royalties from the Neptunes or NERD, including album sales, touring, and merchandising. Hugo also alleges repeated requests for financial records since 2021 were ignored or met with incomplete disclosures, which his lawyer says constitutes a breach of operating agreement. Damages are estimated at $325K to $575K, with potential damages exceeding $750K to $1 million. The lawsuit also touches on Hugo's creative role in the duo. Now, this part was crazy. Chad Hugo served as a principal composer, arranger, multi-instrumentalist, and producer, while defendant Williams more frequently appeared as a public-facing member of the duo. Now, that part right there is kind of like, that was like the gut punch. Like, damn, like Pharrell was really just a face. He wasn't really doing. I'm not saying it doesn't have no validity, but I don't want to strip Pharrell of his creative process, neither within all this, because I hold Pharrell as, honestly, he's in my top 3 producers all time. I actually got him right behind Kanye West. But I think collectively they both hold the same weight, Chad and Pharrell. I think both of them are both creative in their processes and get busy. But just in terms of what I seen Pharrell do throughout his career outside of the Neptunes, as far as what he did for other artists, is why I hold him high in regards of why I have him as one of the best producers. So, that part with saying that he really was just the face of it, that's kind of crazy. And again, I'm not saying it don't hold no validity, but that's insane. I don't really want to strip Pharrell of his creative process and, his talents as well. But if you owe Chad, pay the man. Pay the man, bro. And I think that's why we haven't seen these two together for years. We haven't seen them side by side. This is not the first rumblings I've heard from Chad as regards to Pharrell of him not doing right. And again, I mentioned earlier with Khalees, but he's building a reputation. He's building a reputation for not doing right by niggas, man. And you gotta do right by people, man. And if y'all did something together and you owe somebody something, or you're withholding money, and that's not cool. That's not cool, especially when history was made. Especially when history was made, because if y'all come up together and y'all boys and y'all cool, what reason do you have to withhold finances from somebody? Not pay them their royalties. And it's honestly fucked up. So I hope the situation gets solved, and I hope Chad is, properly compensated if he was done wrong. And that was one of the things that I remember a few episodes ago I championed Rico Wade for, because I remember when the Art of Organized Noise documentary came out. That was one of the things that he spoke about in terms of Outkast. Like, even though they had split, they hadn't really talked at the time. They really hadn't spoke to each other like that. He was talking about how he could have took Outkast publishing. He spoke about how he could have, took majority, but he didn't. He was like, no, we 50-50. Even though I did the beat, I did this, I did that. So that's how everybody should carry it. It's just about being right at the end of the day. Just being a right human being, bro. Like, doing right by people, like having a good heart. And if y'all came into a situation where, both parties was carrying their own weight, it's only fair that I be compensated. You know what I'm saying? It's only right. It's only right that you do that. So, man, that situation is fucked up, bro. This situation is fucked up. Like, album sales, touring, and merchandising. Like, goddamn, bro, you pretty much, like, taking everything. And we all know the music business is very shady. So who's to say that Pharrell might have known some loopholes that Chad didn't? Chad going into it with his homie that he grew up with, thinking like, nah, he ain't gonna do me like that. Not really paying attention to the fine print, probably put some shady shit up in there. And now he's sitting there looking like, God damn, bro, I was getting fucked all these years. That shit ain't right. That shit ain't right. And Pharrell needs to do right by him. So, man, hopefully this situation gets. And honestly, I'm surprised it's that low as 1 million. I would assume something like that because they got some prominent work. It would be way more money than this, man. Because my goodness, bro, like that. Like I said, without him, who's to say what Neptunes really would have been like? That's really what it boils down to. Like, what do we really get? What do we really? I want to let me see. Let me read this one part on this article as regards to the situation. The heart of Hugo's issues with Pharrell deals with NRD Music LLC, a company they formed in 2014. Hugo suit claims that Pharrell's sole responsibility to provide information about income, expenses, royalties, and other financial issues that he failed to do so. Under the terms of the company, Williams gets half of the money from touring and other income, while Hugo and Haley each get 25%. The merchandising and trademark income is divided equally among the three members. Hugo claims he has been trying since 2021 to get access to the company's financial records from Williams with almost no success. That shit is crazy. Reached out to Hugo's attorney for more comments. Yeah, so we just have to wait to see how this plays out. These niggas have won awards together. You know, I remember they got an award at the Songwriters Hall of Fame award show, and we all know they're stamped. They're stamped in hip hop history, and also in in other genres as well. So I hope Pharrell, man. Hey, bro, like I always subscribe to where there's smoke, there's fire. This is a continuous theme. This is a continuous theme with Pharrell, man. You got to do right by people, bro, because that shit not right. Especially when y'all did great shit together. It's no need to really be doing people like that, man. So salute to Chad. Hopefully this shit gets worked out, man, because this shit is fucked up, and I don't like to see nobody. I don't like to see nobody, getting done wrong, especially when it was somebody that you grew up with. So, moving on to some sports shit, right? I wanted to speak about this, and this kind of crazy because me being a Panthers fan, I love to see the Falcons fans and the Falcons themselves have a demise. I love to see it. But, me being on this platform, I also can be, fair in my assessment too of situations that I see. So I wanted to speak about, the recent hiring of Kevin Stefanski with the Falcons and all this hoopla surrounded around, Shador Sanders and all this other shit. Let me be real, right? Because this shit is hilarious. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year. A 2-time coach of the year during his tenure where he has consistently not had a starting quarterback. And the whole Baker Mayfield experiment didn't work out. Like, essentially he basically got rid of Baker Mayfield. Off the heels of the 2020 season where they went to the playoffs, they made it to the second round. Shit didn't pan out in the 2021 season, and, he basically got shipped out after that year. And he continued to do his thing as far as coaching, building, a prominent defense, making it work with what he can. And then the whole Deshaun Watson situation didn't work out with his injuries, him not being on the field and all that. So I've always believed Kevin Stefanski to be a great offensive mind. And, during his time in Cleveland, yes, he had a losing record. But you don't get a 2-time coach of the year just because. Like, he's a good coach. And I don't like the fact that everybody, mainly the Falcon fan base, are reducing him to just the whole Shador situation. The fact of the matter is, you have to separate your feelings from what's real. And what's real is that whole situation, it wasn't going to pan out with Stefanski either way. And it's unfortunate because I still believe Shador Sanders can be a good quarterback in this league. But that doesn't mean every decision has to live and die by what I do with him as a quarterback. And the reception I'm seeing from Kevin Stefanski is everything based off of how he handles Shador. Just fuck what he did prior. Everything always goes back to what he did with Shador. And it shouldn't be like that. That's not how football works. Everybody talking about, oh, why we hired him? We should have got Mike Tomlin. The same Mike Tomlin who didn't draft Shador. When the Steelers were one of the teams, quote unquote, pressured, I would say, to kind of draft Shador, he didn't draft him. He didn't want him. And Mike is not even going to be coaching again next year. So a lot of y'all just saying shit for the sake of culture, man. Culture don't equate to no wins. It's about getting the right minds in there. Who's going to deliver wins? That's all it's about. It's not about nothing else but that. That culture shit is not going to guarantee you nothing. Niggas talking about hiring Deion and do what? Do what? It's about wins at the end of the day, man. Not that other fairy tale shit y'all niggas talking about. That's not how football works. It'll never work that way. That's not to say if you happen to have a situation where that works out, okay, yeah, the culture shit is cool, but are we getting wins? Because if not, that culture shit can go out the fucking window. And again, me being a Panthers fan, I can be fair. I think this was a good hire for the Falcons. I think Stefanski goes into a situation. I still think he needs a quarterback because I damn sure don't think Michael Penix is it. I don't. On top of his injury history, I just don't think he has the right mechanics and the mind frame to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's just my honest opinion. I would have to see more. He doesn't instill fear in me when we play them. Kirk Cousins, we all know how that shit go. He on his way out the door anyway. But if Stefanski could get him a quality quarterback, I think he could do good. But this whole shit, him being judged based off how he did Shador is nasty work. It's real nasty work. Because you don't judge somebody just off of 1 year. And then Shador wasn't even starting the whole year. But all it really is a lot of Shador fans. A lot of Shador fans are not football fans or knowledgeable of football. I see DC Youngfly talking about he don't know what the fuck he talking about. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. At all. So a lot of Shador fans, honestly, and I don't mean no disrespect, a lot of y'all niggas just attracted to him. Or you just a fan of Deion. It's one of the two. You're a fan of Deion to come up. You want to see them do good, but you don't know shit about football. So you just like Deion and, Shador, what they got going on. Or you just really just attracted to the nigga, to be honest. Because a lot of the shit that I'm seeing don't really make no sense. Stefanski did this. Stefanski did that. Well, goddamn, bro. Like, talk about what the nigga did with Cleveland. Especially when he didn't have a consistent quarterback. That's really what it's about. He's a great offensive mind. He knows what he's doing. He just needs to get a consistency at the quarterback position in Atlanta. I think it'll take time, but I think he'll be all right. But all this culture shit and all this other shit, no. That's not how football works. That's not how football works, and it'll never work like that. Because you're going to find yourself in a situation where all this culture shit equates you to back-to-back 3-14 seasons. Then what will you have to say about culture then? That's what I want to know. What are you gonna have to say about culture then when that happens? All because they didn't get a guy that you like. See, that's the thing. It's always about what you like and not what makes sense. Because it always has to go back to logic, making logical decisions. I can like somebody all day, but if you're not fit for the job, I don't give a fuck. Hey, bro, you cool. We go kick it. We can have dinner together. But it's my job to make sure that this team deliver wins. It's not personal. So, yeah, I like you. You might have the persona for the city or my team or whatever the case may be. But if your resume is not looking good as far as delivering, then I can't hire you. What exactly is Deion Sanders going to do? And just to segue on this Deion real quick, because, the clock is ticking on him too as far as what he's supposed to be doing at a D1 level. Because Deion will be at Colorado 23, 24, 25. This will be going on his fourth year. And I was one of the people that thought that Deion Sanders' name alone would, yield him high results as far as recruiting, getting people to come to play for him. But looking at the landscape of college football, Deion Sanders ain't really a threat. Colorado ain't really a threat. So you're saying you want Deion to come to the next level and do what? Because being honest, he has done nothing at the college level. And that's not to say he possibly won't do it at the college level, but as of, going on his fourth year at Colorado, Got to be honest here. Deion might just be mediocre. Yeah, he's cool. Yes, he's a legend. One of the greatest football players of all time. Top 5 player of all time, honestly, in my opinion. Just in terms of what he did on the field. But sometimes your name can only carry you but so far. Your name can only carry you but so far. At some point in time, the coaching got to start clicking. It got to start equating to some wins. Bowl victories. Playoff appearances. And I'm going to be real, that kind of was the expectation for Deion Sanders coming up to the D1 level because of his name. But it got to start equating to success. So you can sit up here and say, yeah, we should have got, Shador come get the all he all right. Well, what are you basing that off of, though? You got to ask yourself. You got to be honest about that. What are you basing yourself off? Like, what are you really gauging that off of? Because I'm going to be real. If you only saying that Deion can only be successful if he coaching his son, that's not a good look. That's not a good look. You mean to tell me you only have success unless you coaching your son? He's a quarterback of your team. You're not able to coach somebody else up. You're not able to get your recruiting up. You're not able to get your other, coordinators on the same page. Yeah, this, like I said, he's on the clock. Deion is on the clock. It's time to get some success rolling up in Colorado for real. Because again, your name is only going to carry you but so far, man. So that's really all I got to say about that. Like, it's okay to be a fan of somebody, but get the knowledge behind that as well, because that's not how football works at all. All right. So moving on next, CJ Stroud. Oh man, that was one of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen in the playoffs, hands down. CJ Stroud was, oh my God, horrendous. I need to pull up his stat line because that was insane what he had going on. My goodness. And the jokes have been warranted. I tell you that much. The jokes have been warranted behind CJ Stroud, bro, because that was fucking crazy, bro. CJ Stroud was 20 of 47, 212 yards, one TD, 4 interceptions. He had a QBR of 21 and a rating of a passer rating of 28. That's fucking insane, bruh. And I think he had 2 fumbles no, he didn't have no fumbles. He just had 4 interceptions. The Houston Texas defense did all it could. Y'all know, I said earlier, a few episodes ago, I believe the Houston Texas defense is built to, at least be the sole reason why they reached the Super Bowl. And they could have reached the Super Bowl because Drake May wasn't no spring chicken neither. He was bad as well. I don't care what the box score say. I watched the game. So Houston went out there and got busy. So CJ Stroud, drafted number 2 overall. I don't see a situation to where Houston has to really attach themselves to him right now as far as solidifying him in the future, being the leader of the Texans, because that was ridiculous. That's insane. And I was surprised they didn't put Davis Mills in there in the second half of that game. Season on the line. Houston is built to be a Super Bowl contender. But if you got a quarterback going out there throwing 4 interceptions in one half, you can't have that as a franchise. CJ Stroud has to be better. And do I believe he can be better? I don't know. As of right now, that question it's a fair question. I don't know. Super highs, but super, super, super lows. So when you have that situation going on, it's kind of like, what do you do? Houston probably is in the position where they're kind of stuck with him right now because there's really no other options. But as far as paying him long term, I don't see it. I wouldn't do it. I would not do that at all. He has to continue to prove himself going into the next year because that was ridiculous. Especially when Houston is going out there forcing 3 and outs, forcing 5 turnovers by the Patriots, getting sacks, had 5 sacks on the day. An interception with, I believe, 3 fumbles. Because Drake may have 4 of them on his own. CJ Stroud has to get busy, man. This wasn't one of those games where it was like both teams are, trading punches type shit. Like, nah. I think with the way Houston defense was performing, they was more than capable of getting this W. That's my honest opinion. And CJ Stroud, it was terrible. Terrible. Inexcusable. 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 And of course, we got the championship games today between Denver and New England and Seattle and the Rams. And of course, by the time the show was already aired, all the results have already happened. I got the Rams and with the Patriots and Broncos is a toss-up because Jarrett Stidham. But if I had to give the edge, I'm gonna give the edge to the Broncos. So I believe we'll have a Rams and Broncos Super Bowl. I believe we will have a Rams and Broncos Super Bowl. I believe, Jarrett Stidham, he goes out there and, he's just, manages the game. He don't got to go out there and get nothing crazy because Drake May is capable of turning the ball over. And Denver is definitely capable of producing them, especially after what they did to Josh Allen the previous week. And James Cook as well, forced turnovers from James Cook as well. So I believe the Rams go up to Seattle to handle business because I'm not a believer in Sam Darnold. I believe Matthew Stafford gets busy. Puka Nacua does what he did the last time he played in Seattle, putting up 200 yards, even though they did lose the game. But I believe the Rams goes up to Seattle and handles their business. And we will have a Rams versus Denver Broncos Super Bowl. Moving on, Keon Coleman, this whole situation. Man, listen. This Keon Coleman shit is so funny for so many fucking reasons because niggas are so fake. You niggas are fake as fuck. Niggas are so fake. So recently there was a press conference because the Bills fired Sean McDermott, which I think was a stupid decision. Stupid decision. He wasn't the reason why the Bills are where they at, and he's a great coach, and I hope he lands at another spot. So you had a situation where they was up there, they had Bean, the general manager, and the owner. I don't know the owner's name. They was talking about the whole situation, and Keon Coleman's name came up. And the owner proceeded to throw Keon Coleman pretty much under the bus, saying that wasn't our decision to draft him, da-da-da-da. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that the owner was right for doing that. You don't do no shit like that. But all this other sympathy shit that I'm seeing from fans and from media members, I don't want to hear it. Keon Coleman has been a laughing stock for going on 2 years now for not living up to what he was supposed to be in Buffalo. Cam Newton, his little clip on 4th and 1 that was going viral, that's attached to Keon Coleman now. The whole cookies and all this other shit. Every time he after that clip dropped, every time he did something, they attached cookies. That they call him cookies now. They don't even call him Keon for real. They call him cookies. So now everybody's saying, oh, I feel bad for him. Y'all don't feel bad for that nigga. You don't feel bad for that nigga. Every single person, including myself, because I'm a Florida State fan, and I was high on Keon, the slander was warranted. He's not a great route runner. He can't get open. He dropped some of the easiest passes. That just is what it is with Keon. And when you're drafted at a position to where they're looking for you to be the next one or the number one for your team, yeah, slander is warranted. That's just what comes with it. But now all of a sudden, because the owner said what he said, and again, I'm not saying he right for it. Y'all want to do this, oh, I feel bad for the kid shit. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear that. You niggas is fake and fickle as hell. You don't care about Keon Coleman in terms of what he's been going through. You don't. Because you've been right there running with the jokes too. And I'm going to say this right now too. If you feel so bad about Keon Coleman, tell your team to trade for him. Because everybody tell him, oh, I would demand a trade after hearing that. And da-da-da-da. Tell your team to trade for him. There hasn't been one person behind saying, oh, I feel bad for him. I want him on my team. That's how you know people be full of shit. Say you want Keon on your team. You don't. You don't want him on your team. The slander is warranted. And people want to say, oh, he wasn't the first. Bro, stop playing games. He was drafted like damn near the first pick in the second round. The Bills drafted him for a reason, to be their new number one. And it didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. But to sit up here and do all this now because the owner said what he said in terms of, oh, that wasn't our decision to draft him, which he lied because Brandon Beane was right there on in the draft war room talking about how, if somebody else don't blow us away, the pick is Keon. So you wanted him. But we ain't going to sit up here and do this fake sympathy tour for this nigga now. Hell no. Especially after he done been getting jokes all this time. Fuck that. And if you feel that way, again, tell your team to trade for him. Tell your team to trade for him. That's all I want. That's all I want to hear, bro. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing else because that shit there was hilarious, bro. That shit was. I'm like, oh, all of a sudden now niggas feel bad for him. When y'all been making jokes about this nigga the whole time, bro. Like, nah. I don't want to hear that. Get it the fuck out of here. You could get somebody else with that shit. Sorry. And I want to see Keon Coleman do good. But fact of the matter is, through 2 years, he's not looking like a pro NFL player. That's just the fact of the matter. And even though that play didn't count, this nigga dropped a wide open touchdown pass against Denver too. And it would have been a penalty, but at least they would have got another down. It gotta be better. It gotta be better. So moving on. Jeanie Buss. Jeanie Buss, there was an article, long ass article too. My goodness. There was an article that dropped basically, covering the timeline leading up to her tenure with the Lakers and her selling the team. Pretty much covered everything as far as her siblings, her firing her siblings and everything. And that whole situation is crazy. Like, it really dove into, the whole Buss family and, him having kids outside of, her parent, her mother and shit like that. How she fired her other two brothers and all that. We all know the Lakers have been kind of like a fiasco post winning the championship in 2020. They haven't really had a stretch to where, shit, even after 2010 when they won the championship, it's been a lot of chaos around the Lakers over the last 20 years. But nonetheless, of course, the big thing that stood out in terms of that whole article was, her issues with LeBron James. And I'm going to read some of the footnotes. Basically saying that Jeanie Buss began to turn on LeBron James years ago. Grumbled about James' outsized ego. Felt Clutch exerted too much control. Didn't like how LeBron was considered a savior. Lack of accountability over the Russell Westbrook trade. Privately mused about not giving him a contract extension and even trading him. Felt LeBron was not grateful for the Lakers drafting Bronny. Begrudgingly gave him a contract extension, fearing a bad PR hit. Let me go ahead and say this. Jeanie Buss, I don't feel bad for her at all in this situation. You know why? Because you the owner. So it wasn't just like you just started, having these feelings. At that point in time, you should have, set the parameters. Set some lines. Hey, if y'all the Lakers organization and you built your shit off greatness and, establishing all this type of culture and all this other shit, then you should have put your foot down with LeBron. Regardless of how he's viewed as a player. If you had all these feelings, you allowed it. You allowed it. With that being said, also LeBron James. LeBron James has been a great addition to the Lakers. I won't fully say that he was somewhat of a savior. Because the fact is, I would say Anthony Davis had more of a role in the Lakers winning the championship than LeBron James did. Because the fact is, when LeBron got there 2018-19, they missed the playoffs that year. What happened? They acquired Anthony Davis. When they acquired Anthony Davis, that was a big piece. It building out their roster, and then they win the championship. But outside of that, they haven't been back to the final since. So I can't really say fully that he's a savior. Was he a great addition? 100%. Do they win the championship without him? No, but I think Anthony Davis was more of the reason why. And just based off of when he got there that first year, yeah, they didn't even make the playoffs. So when they got AD, he was a big domino effect. But all this other shit with Jeanie is kind of like, hey, you allowed it if you felt this way. So I can't really look at LeBron. If he had this reputation and, you felt this type of way, then you should have had them sit downs. You should have had those conversations. And if his side really wasn't really willing to budge, then you make the moves necessary to make sure that your franchise is set up. Because now everybody is grumbling about, what LeBron is doing in terms of the Lakers and, his play and all this other shit and, his cab hit and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, this could have been solved a few years ago if you would have did what you were supposed to do as an owner. That's just the fact of the matter. I think it's blame to go all the way around. She don't get to skate on this, in my opinion. She don't get to skate on this at all. She's held just as much as accountable as LeBron too. And I'm not going to sit up here and say LeBron is the reason why the Lakers are where they are. But if you felt like he had that much, how can I say, input in terms of roster decisions and all that. I don't understand how Rob Pelinka still has been skating by all these years. He don't get no hit articles. Rob Pelinka don't get no hit articles at all. He's the GM. He got the job only because he was cool with Kobe Bryant. So why is he not held accountable? I've been saying Rob Pelinka needs to go. I never really thought Dog was a good GM, honestly. I never thought he was. Some of the roster moves that he made, every summer he fucking switching up the goddamn roster. That's not how you build a team. That's not how you sustain success. Now, granted, after they won the championship, they lost in the next round in 2021, the first round to the Suns. You still should have kept that team together. That team was the team that got you to the championship. Then the whole Russell Westbrook shit. I'm about tired of that too. It seems like nobody wants to marry themselves to that decision. Do I believe LeBron James had, some input on Russell Westbrook? 100% I do. But at the end of the day, you're the owner. Rob is the GM. Y'all made the decision. But now all of a sudden nobody wants to marry themselves to that decision. It never was a great decision, in my opinion. I never thought the situation was going to pan out. I never thought it was a good pairing. Putting Russell Westbrook with LeBron James and Anthony Davis was not a smart move. You should have kept the team that you had together and continue to run it up. At least give it another 1-2 years. But it seems like nobody wants to take accountability for that Russell Westbrook trade, bro. That shit is crazy. Drafting Bronny, again, decision that you made. You felt like you should have been grateful for it. Maybe you should have. But again, he had a quote-unquote oversized ego. And the moment that you felt like LeBron might have felt like somewhat being the savior, hey, pull the reins back. It's nothing wrong to tell LeBron James, especially at 35 plus years old, hey, bro, like, hey, I understand this and that, and but hey, we trying to get championships. We know you on your way out. Hey, what's the situation for both of us that works out? Because I understand that you want this extension, but we trying to get some more chips. The Lakers organization have always been like that. That's how they built their reputation. Chips. Well, these decisions these niggas been making over the last 5-6 summers, and they ain't been chip moves. And again, I can't put it all on LeBron. But this sounds like a pity article for Jeanie, but I really ain't got no pity for her. You got to establish order when it comes to situations like this. This is not to say you're not supposed to treat your franchise leaders at that time a certain way, 100%. Should they have input on certain moves? Some of them, yeah, I agree. But if shit is getting out of hand, it's like, hey, whoa, let's bring this shit back. Especially when we haven't had a championship since 2020. It's 2026 now. Ain't he on his way out? So if you wanted to fix this situation should have been fixed years ago. Too late now. Bed done been made. You already done gave the nigga extension. You gave the nigga extension 2 summers ago. So, hey, it is what it is. It's a lengthy article, so if you want to take some time and check it out, it's definitely an interesting read. I will say that. It definitely is an interesting read, but I can't really feel too much. I can't feel too bad for Jeanie. I can't. Because you allowed it. And it's not 100% his fault. It's not. It's all about control. How you control your players, how you control your coaches, how you control your GMs. Everybody needs to be on the same page mentality-wise. We all don't got to agree. But we all got one goal, and that goal is to get to a championship. Everybody going to have different routes. Everybody going to have different ways of opinions. But ultimately, we got to agree on most part. And if we can't, changes got to be made. Charles Barkley. Let's move on to Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley has been upset with the lack of inside the NBA's time on air. Because you all know that they're not on TNT no more. They are officially on ESPN. And Charles Barkley had some comments as regards to, their lack of airtime. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip from what Charles had to say.
Where's Chris months. There was no reason for us to be off for 2 months.
Why not?
And then you got fools on television.
It was Christmas, man.
Christmas,
I'm happy. Listen,
it's a month. First of all, Christmas.
Why was there no reason for us to be off?
Christmas is the worst holiday in the history of civilization. All you do is waste money. Hate Christmas. You know that.
What does that have to do with us working Christmas Day 5 days?
Oh, we work Christmas Day.
I know. So you said it's been 2 months since we were on.
Yeah, but we only work once in 2 months.
It's been a month.
And let me tell you something.
14 hours in one day. And I feel overworked.
Can I look at this camera right here?
Yes.
Okay, there's some fools at home or on the internet. They're at home now saying that we were talking bad about the players, so they made us work less. Shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. This is already scheduled.
Nice catch, by the way.
Because you know what, I really...
I know. Do you realize how scheduled
come on, man. These guys are like, well, you know, these guys, they don't put them on the shelf because they don't want them on TV. Man, y'all need to shut the hell up. This was already planned months and months ago. All I said was, I would like to work more.
But we're going to be so heavy on the back end, Jack.
I know.
We work 3 days next week.
I know.
Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. Then we go home. All of the playoffs, all of the finals.
The only point I made.
It's heavy back end.
I know. And we could have.
When the games really mean something.
Well, they all mean something.
No, they don't. Yeah, but they really mean something.
You don't think the cup mean anything?
You gonna watch the Sacramento New Orleans game?
Not if y'all paid me.
Okay, then it don't mean anything.
Not if y'all paid me. I'm not watching Sacramento.
How about that
There
show?
was no reason for us
All right. So let me say this. Inside the NBA overall during its tenure on TV, this includes TNT, has been a great show. Award-winning, great show. But recently, they have been their own demise. And the reason why they've been their own demise is a lot of hating from Shaq. They've also admitted to not really watching some of the games. So they can't really blame nobody else. Like, we're not going to sit up here and play dumb. Like, it's been a lot of rumblings about, the show being bad because all that hating, that's mainly coming from Shaq. Sometimes Chuck, but he'll show love too, but mostly Shaq. And them not really watching the games. So now that y'all go to ESPN, you upset, you like an airtime, I can't really feel bad. And I've been on here saying, hey, NBA Prime got Inside the NBA wiped down. Shout out to everybody over there. Steve Nash, Blake Griffin, Taylor Rooks, Udonis Haslem. They be having some great basketball coverage. No goofy shit. No really hating. Real critique. Real praise. How it should be. So I'm not really mad that these niggas on the air less. Hey, it's a changing of the guard. It may be some time for self-reflection. There's no shot at Ernie and Kenny. Ernie and Kenny really don't be on no dumb shit. It's really the two head honchos, Charles and Shaq. Mainly Shaq with that hating shit. That shit get burnt out. That shit gets burnt out. And now that you have NBA on Prime doing their thing, having real coverage, having real convos, still a little entertaining. It's a balance. Really watching the games, really having real breakdowns. That shit matters. So I can't feel bad for inside the NBA, bro. I can't. Y'all own demise. You gotta you gotta do better. If you want more airtime, you gotta be better. That's what it all boils down to. Cause I really wasn't missing them niggas. I'm not even gonna be real. I've been praising NBA on Prime. Like, them niggas been getting busy, bro. They've been getting busy. They've been doing their thing. That was a great thing the NBA did. Having that NBA on Prime crew. They are really killing that shit. Bro. They are covering the NBA how it's supposed to be. Real shit. So, hey, Godspeed. That's really all I got to say. Godspeed, man, because, hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to do what you got to do. And if you getting bad reviews and, the rumblings are there, they're there for a reason. They are there for a reason, bro. So, it is what it is. We got to speak about the championship results from the Natty between Indiana and Miami. I did have a final of 34-31 for Indiana. They ended up winning this game 27-21. Shout out to Mendoza. He had a huge play in the fourth quarter to run. Basically, somewhat sealed the game with a rushing touchdown. As far as passing, he was pretty much efficient. He was 16-27, 186. Again, had that big rushing touchdown towards the end of the game. Carson Beck threw a game-sealing interception to pretty much give Indiana the victory. So they finished the season 16-0, one of the greatest college football seasons ever for a college football team. And of course, it's something that we're not used to seeing. Indiana being national champions. Indiana hasn't, they started getting their relevance at this last year, and they just became a powerhouse, man. Shout out to Indiana, shout out to the coaching staff, everybody doing their thing. And I only got this one question. Is the Big Ten the dominant conference now? This 3 years in a row, a Big Ten team has been a champion. 2023, Michigan. 2024, Ohio State. 2025, Indiana. So everybody wanted to say, the SEC, even when they wasn't, when it was really just two teams dominating, Georgia and Bama, Georgia of late, the SEC is the dominant conference. Well, can we say that about the Big Ten now? 3 straight championships from 3 different teams, by the way. 3 straight champions from 3 different teams, by the way. Winning the national championship. It's a fair question. I just want to know. Is it fair to say that the Big Ten is the dominant conference in college football now? Because I never really felt that there was a dominant conference. But for all the SEC lovers out there, if I'm subscribing to y'all logic, hey, y'all, it's a changing of the guard. Big Ten done ran all 3 straight championships by 3 different teams. It hasn't been just really one team at the time. Alabama, then, you had the one outlier with LSU, and then you had Georgia recently. I just want to know. Fair question, but again, shout out to Indiana, man. They was getting busy, and they was handling their business. Mendoza, he declared for the draft. So he's slated to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. But hey, I'm interested to see how they go after him. How they build their ass. We all know the NIL is huge. We all know the NIL gets busy as far as players. They make decisions. Transfer portal is heating up as of right now, as we speak. Shout out to Kurt Kignetti. Hope I'm saying that correct. But yeah, man, he built that program up, man. He built that program up. I saw it last year. I think they lost a Big Ten championship. But he got them back into the playoffs in a 16-0 season. Gotta credit that, man. Gotta credit that. So we'll definitely see in terms of how that goes. But it's dope to see college football in the landscape that it is right now. It's really you can't really put a pin on who's really running shit. With the NIL, anybody is capable of getting busy. Anybody is capable of getting busy, man. Hey, you got to cut them checks. Man. So that's pretty much all I got as far as this week's show. Again, thank for y'all tapping in with me, checking in with me. Always chase them goals. Stay consistent. We are coming up on the end of January, about to go into a new month. If you got to hit a reset button, hit that reset button. Stop procrastinating. Go out here, handle business. Take care of your mental health as well. Get your ass in that gym. Like I always say, get your ass in that gym. Get busy in that gym. The gym will do wonders for you. And ultimately, please be safe. So like I say every week, this is I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. I'm out.